come up against. And, the year obviously wasn't as successful as we wanted it to as a team, but you know, we've got some things that we can learn upon and get better for next year.
Can you describe just sort of the end of your season, just with all the expectations, how different it was to lose? Sort of what's been going through your mind since then?
I think at first it was just shock. I think it happened so fast. It was just like it just ended just like that. You know, we did have high expectations this year. I think it was the deepest our team has ever been, and you know, it was very disappointing and tough. It was you know, a lot of guys didn't really know how to react, and hopefully it helps us for the future.
Speaking of the future, I mean, how apprehensive are you about the next couple of weeks?
Obviously, I think that they're going to do what they can and try and take care of everything. It's David's done a great job in the past and getting everything he wants to do done, and it's just going to obviously how it unfolds. It's going to take place in the next few weeks.
Are you trying to talk to Ryan or not talk to Ryan?
Yeah, I've talked to him a bunch. I mean, not really about hockey. I think we just talk about what's going on in his farm. That's all he seems to like to talk about.
What's going on in his farm?
He's out there riding the tractor all day, pretending like he's doing hard work, but he's just driving the tractor.
Mm-hmm. I mean, are you recruiting him? Are you just being a supportive friend?
Yeah, obviously, I'd like him to stay. I mean, it's a personal choice for him, but anything that that I could do to help, I would do. But I don't think that's for me to decide. That's for him and his family. And obviously, I'd like to play with him for a long time, but that's I can't make that choice.
What about you specifically? You're restricted free agent again this summer, but it feels kind of different this time around a little bit. Maybe less pressure, kind of going into it. I mean, what's sort of your take on your situation right now? Where you talk about where you guys are with the team in terms of maybe trying to come to the deal.
Yeah, I think it's a lot different situation last year. Obviously, with the summer we had last year, that was tough. The negotiations didn't go, I think, as either side had planned, but that's the way it went. And I think this year is more comfortable. I think that we understand and know what each other want, and I think that it's all going to kind of take care of itself.
What do you want?
To win. I think just like every player in the league wants to win, and a competitive team on the ice, and I think that we had that this year. I think like I said before, we were the deepest we'd ever been, and that's the way it goes. LA got hot at the right time. Phoenix was hot. They were playing very well, and obviously LA made it through and played the best.
Is a long-term deal a serious possibility for you, depending on what happens?
Yeah, I think so. I think that anytime you commit yourself, it's somewhere you want to play and somewhere you believe in. And I think if that's the case, if I'm going to sign there, it's going to be a long-term deal. And if not, then we'll have to decide and kind of go our separate ways.
Is there sort of a wait-and-see approach to what Ryan does, kind of before you kind of decide what to do with your future?
Yeah, maybe that's a different situation this year too, as Ryan was waiting to see what I was doing. Obviously that didn't play out as anyone expected, but this time around I just kind of waiting, yeah, like you said, to see what he does and what happens with him, and obviously we're hoping for the best and everything works out.
What is your last 3 weeks to a month been like? Have you gone back to Sycamoose? I mean, what have you been up to? I know that with kind of every playoff loss you've had, it seems like there's sort of been a kind of I don't want to say a mourning period, but a difficult time for you. What have you been doing in terms of trying to get over this one?
Yeah, just kind of just went to my house there in Kelowna and just kind of did nothing. I mean, the weather hasn't been very good out there either, so I've just kind of been almost a hermit, just kind of staying inside. Played a little bit of golf, and obviously I'm training again. I've been training for a couple of weeks now, and it was tough this year, especially I think with all the recognition we had. A lot of people in Canada knew how close we were and how much of a chance we had this year, so it was tough to go home and hear from a lot of people, so I kind of just stayed to myself for a bit.
I think there were some comments that you made on a Vancouver station about Badalov and feeling, I guess, betrayed was the word. I mean, can you sort of maybe clarify those in terms of what you meant?
It's a tough situation. Obviously, he can't take back what he did, but on the other hand, I was one of the guys that stuck up for him, that wanted to have him back, and for something like that to happen in the playoffs in the biggest game probably of our career to that point, it's just disappointing. I mean, I know how good of a player he is, and it's just kind of it wasn't a good feeling.
Thinking about that and just kind of letting it simmer a little bit, does it make you more upset to a degree? Like just kind of thinking back to that, just kind of hearing what you're saying right now.
No, it didn't make me any more mad. I think that it was his decision. It was a personal choice, and we still had the guys to win. Obviously, we won that next game when they sat out, and I think that we still could have accomplished it, but things just didn't work out for us this year.
How is the summer different for you than last summer? Obviously, I'm wondering what's going to happen with Ryan. Still some uncertainty with what he's going to have with you. Is it different for you this summer, or are you sort of used to it now, having gone through something similar last year?
Yeah, I think that this summer is a lot more calm. Obviously, we had been filed on for arbitration last year, so there was a little bit of a. I think everyone saw how the negotiations went. They didn't go as anyone has planned or wanted. So I think that this year we're on the same page. I think we know kind of where each other are headed and what the goals are.
Do you worry about what will happen with Ryan? It's not your thing, but are you concerned about it? Are you obviously assuming you'll be watching very closely what happens with him?
Yeah, I mean that's we kind of discussed that already. It's all right. It's his decision. It's a personal thing for him and his family. Whatever he feels best for him. But obviously, we'd love to have him in Nashville. I'd love to play with him for as long as I could. So it's going to be obviously a period where we're watching and seeing what happens. But I don't think you can stress about it or work yourself up too much.
Does CBA play any role in signing a long-term deal? Do you want to get it done before there's a new agreement, just to make sure you can?
I don't know. That kind of goes both ways. I mean, you see what happened last year last lockout with a 24% rollback. So yeah, you might get that long-term deal, but you might be rolled back 25%. So there's so many ifs about it. I think if you're going to sign, you're just going to sign with the intentions that the CBA is going to stay similar to the way it is, and I don't think we're going to take that into too much detail.
Is it less now about the team and more about how things shake out? Is the team proving to you that it's willing and able to do what it takes, and now it's just whether guys make decisions and how things shake out?
Yeah, I think that we made some steps in the right direction. I think the organization showed last year that they were committed. They gave up draft picks. They committed to getting players in and not just waiting and seeing what happens. They brought players in and really thought we had a chance to win, and that's what every player wants. You want your team to make that effort and go out there and see what you can add and get better at different points of the season.
This summer, the exit had much higher expectations than the last few years. Did that make it harder to lose against Phoenix, or does it hurt about the same every year? Yeah,
it stings every year. If you don't win your last game, you're not winning the ultimate goal. Obviously, I think maybe different people in the organization might have taken it a little harder because they had higher expectations. But I think as a player, you expect to win every year, and it was tough. But on the same hand, there's things that we can take from it, and obviously we've learned a few things with different situations we ran into in the playoffs, and I think that'll make us better in the long run.
One of the things you said in the past was that you wanted to see Nashville make the commitment to win and everything. What they did this year at the trade deadline and bringing Radulov back, was that the type of commitment you were looking for?
It was good, yeah. I think that they showed that they wanted to bring in pieces. They thought that we were close, and they traded for a few guys. They tried to get some scoring, some help on the penalty kill, and they tried to plug holes that they thought that we had. So I think that any player would be happy with the moves that the team would make like that.
Has David given you a commitment to do similar things going forward in the future?
Obviously, he's just as committed as everyone else, and I think that the ownership's finally kind of come to him, and you know, they're on the same page, and everyone's kind of going forward, and the way that they're saying that they're committed to spending and doing what it takes to win. So that's you know, that's an exciting thing.
If you were to get the right offer and everything, would you personally be happy spending the rest of your career in Nashville?
Of course. Nashville's a great city. Obviously, they've got great fans. It's a great place to play hockey. Competitive team every year, and you know, if that's the way things work out, I'm perfectly fine staying there for a long time.
Just back to the awards for a minute. Pecorine nominated for the Vezina for the second year in a row. Can you talk about how important he's been to the franchise?
I think that everyone knows now he's not, you know, he's not really a hidden gem anymore. I think that you just come and watch us play, and you see how much he means to us. And, you know, some of those games where we get out to those slow starts and he's stopping 20 shots in the first period. I mean, there might be games where we could have been out of it really long.
And about the Norris Trophy, Chara and Carlson, can you talk about your competition?
Yeah, obviously two great defensemen.